Any of you who have been with me over the last year know that I first got involved in YouTube as a result of my endeavors in real estate, and that I'm a retired financial advisor, and that one of the things that captivated me as I was moving through this journey was Zillow, and how I felt that Zillow was going to revolutionize the real estate business through their very strong portal and their leadership by Spencer Roscoff. I remember Spencer making the prediction that he would turn the buying of a home into a 3-click process. How the industry just didn't capture that, and how I believed he was right, because I knew he was going to probably go into the mortgage business, which he did, and that he was probably going to go into the title business, which they did, and that then I believed he was going to turn the real estate agent into more of a real estate advisor, and the advisor would advise people on their property and casualty insurance and their automobile insurance, and that advisor would create an ongoing stream of income, and the vehicle to reach that income was the buying and selling of the house. I then believed that that would even carry further in the desire by Google, Amazon, Apple, and Facebook to turn homes into smart homes, and that, again, the real estate vehicle would be the vehicle to get homes into the category of smart homes, because I believe the real monetization of the home buying process is the data that can be derived from the smart home. So that brings us up to roughly this time last year, when Spencer was relieved of his duties, and he was replaced by Richard Barton. Richard, Spencer, and another gentleman were the three co-founders of Zillow, and but Richard was the majority shareholder, and so Richard came in with a new idea, and that idea was basically what they called instant offers, which is a part of the iBuying concept, where they go in and they buy the house and then flip it and sell it. That would then put them in the position of not only controlling the seller, the buyer position, which they did through their Zillow portal, but they'd also then be on the buyer's side of it, and they would, as Spencer had said, bring this all into a 3-click process. Well, shortly after Richard came into the CEO office, he changed Spencer's scenario from a 3-click process to a 1-click process, because again, they were going to be the owner of the home, so they controlled both the buyer and seller side. They would control the mortgage side, they'd incorporate the title, they'd control the insurance end of it, and in fact it was speculated that the actual transaction of the home would be a loss-leading process or profit side, and the reoccurring income would be the end result. And again, I think this is the way real estate will go. But then we had the crisis, the virus crisis. And literally, all of the iBuyers have shut down. There are some who believe that the iBuyer category, which basically includes Zillow, Opendoor, Redfin, this is the nail in their coffin, and they will not survive, and they do not have the money because they aren't buying and selling homes, and yet they have a major expense, because I believe Zillow is now in 20 cities, and that all happened in the last year. Last quarter, they reported losses. I believe if you look at their balance sheet, last year they had a negative cash flow of $650 million, and they went into the year with somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,700 homes, Last report I saw, they got that down to 1,800, but they're sitting with 1,800 homes who have probably a price tag on them of somewhere in the between $250,000 to $300,000 that they're not getting any cash flow off of. So it's with a heavy heart that I ask the question, is Zillow going to survive? I don't see how Redfin and Opendoor can, because they don't have the benefit that Zillow has of their Premier Agent program. And that's where the bulk, under Spencer, that's where the bulk of the income was generated from the agents paying Zillow a fee for the leads that they were provided. Now, to give you some idea, when I was heavy into the luxury homes here in Birmingham, I was approached by Zillow, and they wanted to sell me leads by zip code. And of course, I had the most expensive, I was working in the most expensive zip codes, and so I gave them the two that I wanted, and they came back and told me that it would cost me roughly $4,500 a month to appear as one of the three agents on the homes that I wanted to potentially be the buyer's agent on. I turned that down. I just did not feel that. I felt I could do it cheaper. And I really wanted to be a seller's agent more than a buyer's agent. They have recently, as recently as a month ago, announced that they would discount that fee to their Premier agents by 50% for the next month, and that would have been roughly, say, March the 15th through April the 15th. Well, if I was in a contract with Zillow on March the 15th, and I was paying $4,500, and they told me that they would give me a 50% discount, knowing what I know today, I would say thank you very much, but no thank you. I don't want your discount because I'm not sending you a check. I will stop payment on that check, and if you want to come after me for any contract that I might have signed that would have obligated me for a year, you come right ahead. But I think if we try this case here in Birmingham, I'm going to win. And I don't think they would pursue that. That would be damaging. So I gotta believe that the income that Zillow was receiving from their Premier Agent program has vanished, as well as the income that they were receiving from the selling of houses. Now, you've got to recognize that based on the numbers from 2019, they lost something like $6,700 on every home that they did sell in their iBuyer program, instant offers. So that was, as they admitted, a loss leader program at that time. So I'm looking at it as an investor now and saying, what is Zillow going to do? Well, something interesting happened last week. I believe it was on April the 7th, 2020. That same ex-CEO, Spencer Roscoff, who stepped away, or was asked to step away from the CEO position about 14 months ago, stepped down from the board of directors. I suspect there was a meeting of the board of directors, and Spencer, and again, I wasn't there, I can only speculate it, but I would suspect there was a very heated argument, and there was some language that might have started with, I told you we shouldn't go in this direction, I told you so, now look what's happened to our company. Those words might have come out of Spencer's mouth, and they might have been directed at Barton. And I think then there was a decision made that you aren't aligned with us, and Spencer walked away from his seat on the board of directors at Zillow. There has not been a lot reported on that. Spencer did a few tweets that basically said he had some startup companies in the Seattle area that he was going to pursue, and he was just leaving, and that was unexplained. So my then question is, how is Zillow going to survive? How are they going to have no cash flow to speak of, and all this debt and this mounting expense of maintaining close to 2,000 homes scattered all over the United States, running offices in 20 cities, and nothing coming in. How are they going to survive? Again, I go back to my premise a year ago. Amazon's going to buy Zillow. Because again, Amazon has enough money. Or maybe it'll be Google, or maybe it'll be Apple, or maybe it'll be Facebook. But I think it'll be Amazon. Because Amazon, back around August, entered into a agreement with Realogy. Realogy is the largest real estate broker in the United States. They operate under Better Homes and Gardens, Remax, and a number others. They have more agents than anybody else, and I think second to them is Keller Williams. So they entered into an agreement with them. They entered into a partnership with AARP, and they entered in a partnership with one of the largest national home repair companies, and through their Turnkey. And Turnkey is a union there that Amazon's part of it is that if you will list and buy through Turnkey, they will put up to $5,000 worth of smart home technology into the house, helping you offset the cost of moving and helping you offset the cost of any minor repairs or installations through their alliance with this large home repair company. So I believe Amazon has recognized that the vehicle to make smart homes is to get into the position of being involved in the transfer of homes, real estate. So the question I now have is Zillow is going to report their earnings somewhere around May the 14th. If the earnings are what I believe they are going to be for the first quarter, and more than likely on May the 14th, we're still going to be quarantined in our homes, and the real estate market will have collapsed even further. Is this when Amazon will step in and rescue Zillow? To my opinion, I don't see how Opendoor and Redfin can continue. I don't see them having any cash flow. I don't see the real estate industry getting back on its feet. They had a decent, I think the numbers I saw was they're projecting that March sales will be down 27%. Well, if March, you're going to need to understand, if you're not in the real estate business, that's the pipeline. That pipeline of March sales was filled in January and February. Those were January and February sales that closed in March. You're going to see the real effect of the crisis on real estate in April, May, and June, and maybe even into July, depending on how long I'm required to sit at home. So I go back to the title of my video. How will the pandemic impact iBuyers? Zillow, Opendoor, and Redfin. I think we're facing a turning point for them. I think one of them will be bought out. I think the other two will probably not be in business this time next year.